bid you welcome.
Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Watcher of Realms video. So what you just watched is the first ever collab that we had with Watcher of Realms, and it's gonna be with Dracula. So we have 4 new units, as you can see right here, and this is the first one that we're gonna run through because I think it's the most complex, kit amongst the rest. But I'm also the most interested to see how good this guy is. So his chaotic and Piercer faction. I think we have Citra, we have Sagat for that, but this is the first fighter in this faction combination. And he is pretty unique. You can see right here from the get-go, he has a very funky attack range, and you will find out why in a bit. 17k HP, that's pretty average for a fighter. 5.1k attack, slightly above average, but not going to be the levels of Kigiri or Wukong for sure. And cost is at 18, and this is the big bummer that I think no one really realized. He has 10 seconds attack interval. So you understand why as we roll out through the entire testing video, but it is honestly pretty ridiculous just how high his attack interval is at. Considering the next hero that has this bad of attack interval is AI, and she's very different in terms of mechanics. She doesn't need that much attack speed, but yeah, that's what we have. And then we have the rich regen, all pretty basic stuff, and this is basically it. So why, you might ask, he has such a long attack interval? You'll see in a moment as we get to the talent. So firstly, he cannot launch basic attack autonomously, so he doesn't do it on his own, and whenever he's on the field, he applies Soul Rod to 2 allied units with the highest attack within 2 tile range, and this resets whenever the ultimate ends. Where that might come in handy, all I can think of is basically Arena, because that's one of the places where, you don't need him to actually you don't actually get to deploy him in a certain sequence, and that will mean that if Soul Rod doesn't reset, it's gonna always latch onto the wrong units. And what does Soul Rod do? Allied heroes affected by Soul Rod, they will get HP drain equal to 10% of current HP per second, and he gains 15% damage increase, and this effect cannot be dispelled. So it means it's going to be constantly draining the HP of that 2 allies. And every 1 stack of Soul Rod gives him Soul Siphon, which is 30% damage increase per stack at max level, because he can get up to 10 stacks, and he gets 4% reach. Bear in mind, he can only gain 1 stack of this every 2 seconds, so you can need some time to actually rack up all the stacks. But that's his talent. Now we move on to his passive. So this is where you see the uniqueness. Whenever an ally with Soul Rod deals damage, he follow-ups with a coordinated attack to an enemy wherever basic attack hits. I think this is really important, because there's some things that are not considered basic attacks. If you look at Alexandra's procs, it is considered a basic attack. I will showcase that when we take a look at his mechanics. And that's why the damage is also slightly higher than usual. Normally it's 120%, but on this guy it's at 200% instead. With an attack interval of 5 seconds with max attack speed, I honestly don't have much hope in this becoming the best damage dealer. Alright. Second thing, Blood Hunt. Ultimate attack deals an extra 15% damage to HP, enemies with HP below 70%, and against enemies with HP below 20%, the damage is increased to 30%. And this tells me right off the bat that this guy is not going to be that great in boss content, because boss typically only have 100% HP, and they stay at that level. Especially when you think of Nightmare, Samurai, and all that. That's why Zillitu was so great in Guild Boss 1 when she first launched in the game, because she just straight up gets a damage boost across the board whenever she fights Guild Boss. But this guy, it looks like he needs to go after certain areas of the game. Could be Maurix, could be, other areas like, let's say, Arena. It's definitely not going to be coming in handy for boss content. And second bit here, when deployed, for every one allied hero in the talent's range, he gains 3 stacks of Soul Rod, and for every 1 stack of Soul Rod, he gains 5% penetration. So it means that whenever he does get deployed, after the 2 units get deployed, he will actually get 6 stacks of Soul Rod, and then every stack of that he actually gains 5% penetration. So it means that he can get up to, I guess, 30% penetration if, let's say, he's placed after those allies come in into his range. And then other stuff here, just an arena cost reduction, nothing too fancy there. And then a bond skill with Lady Mina, which you can see over here, unlocks the following bonus effect. The ultimate range increases, and the Blood Covenant damage multiplier increases by 40%. So what is Blood Covenant? Let's actually move on to the ultimate here. So during the ultimate, absorbs all Soul Rod effect to deal 60% damage to one enemy unit in range 5 times per second for 15 seconds. So every second he's going to do 300% damage. Inflicts anti-heal for 5 seconds. I think this is the first fighter we ever had with anti-heal. It causes HP drain equals to 15% of his current HP per second, and he cannot be healed. You can see when activated, he ignores any shield carried by the target and he directly reduces HP. So if you can shield him, he's gonna stay alive. And gains 10% damage increase for every 100 bonus attack speed. So it means that if you have him in a properly built quad set, he's gonna have 40% damage increase. And after the ultimate ends, all stacks of Soul Siphon are consumed. So it's essentially a burst here. I don't think it's so much so wave clear because it's a 60% single target damage dealing spell. It's not going to do AoE damage. It's going to be very focused in certain areas of the game. Alright, before we do move on, we do have an exclusive artifact for him. So it increases damage by 30%, and during the ultimate he gains additional attack equal to 10% of the attack of absorb allied heroes with Soul Rod. So basically the 2 units, he's gonna absorb 10% of their attack each, I'm assuming. So it's a pretty good artifact, and since it's an event, my guess is that we'll get the artifact for free as well. And now we move on to his awakenings. A1, allies with Soul Rod effect, the damage increase raised to 30%. So the origin is at 15 and the talent over here, and with A1, you're just gonna get it increasing to 30% instead. And then A2, flat attack. That's always nice for unit because it scales well, especially since its base attack is just slightly above average. And then A3, ultimate, inflicts defense reduction. This is pretty much on par with Torador actually, so that's great. And it lasts for 5 seconds. Basically gonna just boost his ultimate damage. And A4 is extra penetration, always great. And A5, during the ultimate, the more times an enemy is hit by the hero's attack, the higher the subsequent damage they take. Damage increase capping out at 40%. Just basically means that his ultimate is gonna deal 40% more damage in terms of damage increase. So doesn't specify the multiplier of like how many hits, how much damage increase he gets, but we're just gonna assume that with the number of hits that he's getting off, he's gonna get that 40% damage increase quite quickly. So yeah, those are his awakenings. I would say that right off the bat, he looks pretty interesting. It's a kit that we have not seen in the game at all. He is probably gonna be Ancient exclusive for the fact that he is in the Chaotic faction. So he's a non-lot. It might be difficult to actually obtain him. I really like the artwork that they've got going on, as well as the uniqueness of the kit, but we need to do more testing to see how he actually fares in certain part of the game. So yeah, let's get into that without further ado. Alright, so first thing we're gonna test is basically how the coordinated attack for Count Dracula works, and what better way to test it to actually see how it works on global attacks. Because bear in mind the coordinated attacks only work if an ally affected with Soul Rod does a basic attack, and Idru's ultimate is going to do just that. And let's see if it actually gets a global range and what can we expect. Alright, so you're going to see the Soul Rod happening right away, and Earless is going to keep healing them, and that's one of the interesting mechanics that we have here, because if he has Soul Rod on that unit, he is gonna essentially be, giving that double rage regen for Earless to cast on the 2 DPS here. So what we're gonna do is to deploy the healer here, and you're gonna see that bad thing going on. That's basically Count Dracula's coordinated attack. Then we're gonna get another one in a bit. You can see 1.62k, that's Idru ungeared, and then we get a 200k attack. So very obviously, this is gonna work, in this particular use case. But let's actually see how it works when it comes to being with Lady Exandra. Does she still get the coordinated proc happening? My guess is yes. It's basically going to work the same way because Hydra is pretty similar with her in terms of mechanics, but just a lot weaker version of her. So save that. And then let's actually do this here. Let's see how that works. You can see as well, once he gets the full Soul Siphon stacks, he actually stops having that Soul Rod siphoning animation, but the HP is still going to be reducing. So that's always going to be there. And what we're going to do is place down that and wait for the ALX procs. Hopefully it comes out soon before he reaches range. You can see that's the attack that followed up slightly after his first, but because the Mark of Amenity doesn't last long enough, we only see one proc happening. So it's pretty ironic that the Idru synergy is a lot better there, just because of that poor attack interval that he has. And let's say we wanna, proc his ultimate, see how the Siphon works. I'm gonna need all these units to come in. You can see that coordinator attack proccing again. You can see him start bursting. And yeah, you can see the Soul Siphon coming back again. It's gonna be gaining rage quite quickly here. You can see that 30 rage jump. That's probably gonna be that probably came from the Soul Siphoning. And once he reaches 10 stacks, you can turn it into stone again, and then the animation is gonna go off. So that's how you know what's going on. So yeah, I think mechanics wise it's pretty straightforward. As long as it's a basic attack, it's gonna work. If let's say we compare this to something like the Praetor's Hammer, it's my guess is that it's not gonna proc at all. I mean, we can always test that out because we have Pope here. And let's see if we just put him here. We'll see if the lightning hammers actually do anything. My guess is those are not considered basic attacks. I could be wrong. So let's see. We'll wait for a bit, let them gain the hammer stacks. Yeah, I can see the lightning hammers coming through, but having Lady Exandra here was a bad pass. Yeah, you can see the lightning attacks are not proccing the coordinated attacks. That just confirms how the mechanics works in this particular use case. So yeah, let's actually now move on to do some actual testing to see how the hero functions in some parts of the game. The first area that I think it's obviously going to be very strong for Count Dracula is going to be single target arena. I'm going to show you guys why in this particular showcase. We're going out against Destin's team. So just need to switch gear for a bit here. So what we're gonna showcase is a team that's pretty unique. Probably haven't seen it much in this particular sequence. So let me just swap things around. Okay, now we have that all in. Let's actually go into the fight. So the main difference here is going to be deployment timings. The fact that Blood can actually do damage and tank quite a bit. And also the fact that we are going to get a much faster clear time because of what he unlocks. So we're going to do Blood first. Sorry, Baldwin first. That's slightly slower because he didn't proc. That's fine. Let's switch over here. Double procs. He also procced as well, so pretty much at a similar pace. But once we get units coming down, that's where the differences are going to start to show. If it gets Ardea down, we're going to get Blood down instead. Yeah, that happens. Let's see. Once this unit comes up, we're going to proc his ultimate. And that's basically going to help to burst down the mob there. And depending on how fast he clears, we may be able to get some extra procs here. This is where we put Earlist down, facing up. I'm going to see what we are up to here in a bit. And once Valderon comes in, his ultimate. And now we have the Rage back. I'm gonna proc it again. It's basically gonna help finish this off before the enemy even gets the chance to act on it. There we go. And once we have that down, I'm gonna play Citra. Proc the ultimate here. And you're gonna see just how fast the clear speed is. I mean, it clears as soon as it spawns out the portal. And I think one thing that you realize here as well is that Earlist keeps healing Count Dracula, which I think is a flaw. He shouldn't be healing him when, you know, other units are at low HP. We're gonna proc Valderon's out again. Yeah, there's 2 waves. And what we're gonna do is that every second last mob, proc Count Dracula's ultimate, and then proc Citra's ultimate. It's gonna finish off really quickly for us. I go back to the same set of mobs. Just gonna heal back up again.
Let darkness consume you.
I'm gonna do that. And last mob, so proc Count Dracula's ultimate. Do Citra. I'm a bit late here, but I think it's still gonna be a faster clear, just from the fact that his summons are hitting a lot later than ours. And now we just wait out for the next big ultimate from Valderon. So the ultimate. That's done. Now we proc his ultimate. Citra. And we are definitely gonna clear a lot faster than him here. That's basically the team. I mean, it's not the best test, but do bear in mind that this is friendly face-off. So it has the BP actually fixed up compared to what you have seen in the other defense testing, where you do the defense setup. So this one is adjusted BP-wise to what we actually have on the global arena. And damage-wise, you're obviously going to see here Count Dracula not doing the most super crazy amounts of damage, but the point is that the speed of this clear is crazy. I do have to give a shout out to one of the players in 6x server. His name is Jerome. He actually, I'm not sure if he thought out of this strategy, but he was the first one that showed up with this comp. Instead of Count Dracula, he was using Navi, and Navi just didn't survive to the later rounds. But in this case, Count Dracula with his own burst with some HP subs, he actually makes this team pretty good. I mean, it's hard to know unless I have other content creators testing against this team, but at least from the offense perspective right now, Count Dracula looks really good. So yeah, that's for Arena. I think it's one of the areas I didn't really expect him to shine, but I just thought of this team and put it together, and for some reason it just worked way better than I expected. So yeah, let's move on to the next bit. The next area of the game that I want to actually test out, which I obviously do not have as much experience of these days because I don't play GVG competitively anymore, is GVG. The main thing that I want to test out is how well Count Dracula does against the Grotesque Fiends. Because the very annoying thing about Grotesque Fiends is they technically have a second life, and I think the anti-heal just exactly counters that. So we're going to run against this team. It does have very good awakenings like A5 Alex, A3 Earlis, and A1, A2 Eova. But we do have the level 7 Demon Soldiers. So start fight here and see how it actually fares in terms of damage. So we'll start by doing a normal test, where we're just going to use the Kirby. Go to the Fiend.
My prayers will guide you.
Oops. The spiders. And let's see where we get to with this. And yeah, I'm not sure if you can tell, but Kirby just got absolutely destroyed there. Because of the anti-heal, it doesn't heal at all, and there's no invulnerability inbuilt into that guy. Just basically melted from there. So you might be thinking, you know what, maybe we bait out the ultimate first before we get to that stage. But, I'm gonna show you in a bit here how that might not work out as well as you think it will.
My prayers will guide you.
So I'm gonna wait for the healer to go a bit closer. Actually, you know what? The healer is not gonna cut it. I'm gonna do the spiders instead.
My prayers will guide you.
Should hopefully allow him to proc his ultimate, and then we'll follow up with the spawns afterwards. Go. Put the Grotesque Fiend in. And then the spiders to follow up. So ultimate ends just about here. You can see just how fast this guy is gaining his reach. And yeah, he's basically just gonna burst down the Kirby with his, ultimate alone. So, I mean, the thing is that I'm not that well versed in GVG nowadays. There might be a better way to counter this team, but right from the get-go, from this Kirby testing, it looks like he's the perfect counter for it. There's just simply no way that he's gonna be the Grotesque Fiend is going to be surviving against him. Even if you time it afterwards, he just gets his ultimate so quickly because of the Soul Siphon stacks, and it just goes ham after that. You can see damage wise here, he's not doing much, but I'm pretty sure that the anti-heal is playing a big role here. So yeah, the next question is gonna be then, since we need to keep him outside of range, can the Fire Emblem Templar actually take care of him in this particular situation? And this is where we're gonna find more good stuff out of him. So first of all, let's bait him out. Let's ultimate off so that we can actually get him to low HP. And how Fire Emblem Ember Fire Templar works is that with every basic attack, there's a 25% chance to inflict burn. So yeah, so let's ultimate proc. We'll do this. You can see the flames going to Alex. We also see the coordinated attacks coming off here. But that's the thing, it's coordinated attacks. So if my testing has been conclusive, it basically means that all these coordinated attacks that happen here, they don't actually count as basic attacks. And once these guys get into range, they're just basically gonna get melted by Count Dracula. So it's a really quick test. It's not conclusive, but right now from what I'm seeing here, it's looking like Count Dracula is gonna be quite brutal in GVG. It's gonna be quite hard to go up against him. And don't forget, this is a piercer team, so Lego flyers are not gonna fly through that, and Count Dracula does piercing damage on his own as well. So yeah, he has really good potential. But I think in GVG, I'm not that experienced to actually test through what's possible and what's not. But just from the get-go here, I can see him doing really well in this aspect of the game. Yeah, let's move on to the next bit. Alright, so I think we're more or less done with the testing here. Honestly, I expected him to shine in a lot more places. But unfortunately, with that puny attack interval, it is proving difficult to find more areas of the game to use him in. I tried using him in Malrix, but I think the ultimate is pretty finicky to get right. Because outside of his ultimate, he's just simply not gonna get any attacks out at all. And that's the struggle that we have with him here. And I think over the testing, we've also discovered that his main damage comes from his ultimate. So we're not supposed to rely on his basic attacks to actually do any damage. The main damage actually comes from the Mind Shackle here. So it makes me believe that maybe Count Dracula is not that brute DPS that we're looking for. It's more of a support unit. It's more niche in certain areas like single target arena, in GVG, which is, not gonna lie, a bit disappointing. I do think that there are some mechanics that can be fixed. So first thing first is this part. Soul Rod applying to 2 allied heroes. I don't think it should be generally to heroes. It should only target DPS units. So your fighter, mage, tacticians, marksman, it should only apply to them. Shouldn't apply to your healers. Shouldn't apply to your defenders, obviously. So that's one fix. And the other fix is healing priority. I think that if you say that he cannot be healed, he should not be able to get healed at all. Because what I realized in my arena testing is that Earlis keeps healing him instead of healing other units that are on low HP, which is very annoying because Earlis just is unable to heal him out at all. So she just winds up healing him the entire time. So yeah, it's pretty frustrating, and I think those fixes can be made. Can lowering his attack interval help in terms of his damage? It could, but I think we have to also understand the fact that this hero, the more I look at it, it's more designed around the ultimate versus actually doing attacks himself. But of course, this is just based on my testing. A lot of these things, I think when it goes onto global or when it hits the YouTube when it hits my YouTube channel, maybe you guys will have a better idea. So let me know down in the comment section below if there's more areas that you want me to test him in. But just from the get-go here, from a quick test that I can pull up whatever time I have left today, this is all I can see on him. So why pull for him? That's a big question mark. I do think he's going to make single target arena teams freakishly strong, but whether he's going to change things, that I'm unsure of. But I do definitely want them to fix that Sora interaction, and maybe also considering lowering the attack interval so that, you know, he can actually do more damage outside of his usual bits. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. I don't think the videos for the other units will come in anytime soon because I'm really busy with work and this came on a weekday. So yeah, let me know if there's any specific testings you want me to have a look at. But yeah, see you in the next video. Goodbye.